Greetings. Oh, hey, man. August 2025 already. Man, time is flying by. Well, it's been a couple of years since I had anything to talk about, so I just kind of kept silent. But now I think I have a couple of things I want to mention that might be worth talking about, so here we go. First one is this guy here. This is the latest iteration of my manual motor driver for the Delanere system. It's probably, I would think, probably the pinnacle. It's unlikely that we'll go anywhere else with this. This thing works really well. It has a pair of TC4420 MOSFET drivers to actually drive the motor. They're capable of 6 amps, so that's far higher than should ever be needed with this system at all. The L293B, which we used previously, it would top out about 1 amp. So if something shorted or misbehaved or something on the board, it's possible to pop one of those. This thing should draw about 350 milliamps maximum, but you know, certain things can happen with older systems, and so this should take care of that. Very unlikely to pop one of these. The other thing I want to talk about is this board. This is it's actually an automatic board. All this time I've been talking about manual boards and manual drivers, and you know, without the automatic function working. This one actually works in the automatic function. So if you set the temperature inside the car, this thing will do its best to keep it inside your car at 75 degrees or wherever it is you happen to set it. So I know that there's, from experience, these things were never really great, but this thing should work as well as the original. One of the nifty things about it is it takes us into the digital realm. So now instead of everything being analog like the older boards were, this one actually uses an Atmega 328P microcontroller. And over here, there's a port which allows you to connect a USB converter into it. So you can plug this thing directly into your computer and program it directly on the board. This little fella plugs into the board like yay, and that gives you a USB port. This thing also has a way to calibrate it, so you can calibrate this board to your servo. I know there's going to be some variations in the servos as to where the limits are, how far it can go in one direction or the other. And by running this thing through the calibration program, you can set the actual physical limits of your servo. So far, I'm finding that I've only had it on 2 or 3 different ones, and they're all the same. So it's possible that the calibration is a moot point, but nonetheless, it will do it. Also, programming is by, it's like an Arduino. So this part over here makes this thing basically an Arduino. So you can use the Arduino IDE to program it. So you can make changes or you can modify it however you want to. So that's kind of a handy thing to have. I don't really know where that's going to lead. I do know this is a lot more complicated than the other one was. And then you see I got surface mount resistors on there, surface mount LEDs, and those things are interesting to solder on, to say the least. So this board takes me a while to build. So if I sell them, or if anyone's interested, they're going to cost a little bit more than the other ones did, because it's just they're more complex. That being said, it's also possible to build one of these yourself. You don't really have to buy it from me. I'm going to make everything available so that you can do it yourself. Your Arduino is the heart of it. This is actually the front end of it, which senses changes, and the program is on the Arduino. So you can use this Uno, or you can use this Nano. Either one of these work as the front end to do the same thing I'm doing here on mine. And if you take this guy, which is an L298N, I think, yeah, L298N, that's a motor driver. So you take this guy, or this guy and that guy, and put them together, and you have exactly the same thing I got going on my board. I'm going to put the schematic up so that you can see how the connections are made, and also the I'll put up the program. So the program's available. You can program your own Arduino without a problem. So this is one of my experimental jobs. As you can see, it's quite experimental, but I was just testing to see what I had to do to make this work. And this one uses the other motor driver. And of course I have room here, and I got an extra set of pins here so I can make connections as necessary. So this is just really experimental, but it just shows that the whole thing can be put onto a perf board if you wish. So there's no reason why you couldn't take the 328 and the other stuff and make up one on a perf board. The Arduino sketch that I'm using is actually it was done by Claude AI. So I got in touch with Claude and I said, Claude, I need to make blah, 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 blah. I need to work out a way to drive my Delonair system. And then I explained to him what everything was. So after a while, Claude and I came together, and actually like the third or fourth iteration, we came up with a program that's really cool. It works great. There might be better ways to do it. So if somebody actually looks at my program and say, man, you're doing this wrong, well, let me know. I'll have a look at it. But it was his idea to add the calibration, and I liked it. So I included it in my board. One thing I want to mention before I forget about it is that this motor driver that's using the TC4420s, I got those from a guy named Louis Laughlin. He operates a website whose name always slips my mind. But anyway, I'll put it in the description below. So this guy has a lot of useful information for tinkerers, guys who like to do things with electronics, and so if you're interested, he's a good go-to source for things. And it's his design that I'm using on here too, both on this older on the manual board and here on the automatic board. So this is his design, the TC4420. I don't think I would ever have thought about that, using a MOSFET driver to actually drive a motor, but it works great. So I've had nothing but good luck with them. I've been selling for a couple of years. Yes, and one more little thing. Going back to the perf board. Back 25 years ago or so, I decided I need to have one of these things. So this is the first one I built. I use large transistors and relays to drive the motor, and the rest of it is similar in the way the front end works. It's different chips, everything's different, but the idea is the same. So and it's built on a perf board, and it worked in my car for a long time. So if you decide that you want to build one on a perf board, then there's no reason why you shouldn't, because it would if you do it properly, they last a long time. So that's about it. I'll see about getting this stuff up and see where we go from there. I'll also put up a video on how to assemble your own, roll your own, as they say. I think Arduino's great because their stuff's open sourced, and they allowed you to take their components and actually build your own, and I think that's a wonderful thing. So I'm a big fan of open source. So I'm doing the same thing with my stuff. If anyone wants to build one of these on their own, you're more than welcome to do so, and I'll help you do it in any way I can. So you guys take care, stay safe out there, and happy motoring.